When most people finish a video game, they close it down and move on to the next one. But in the case of Pokémon, there's so much to do in the post-game. Well, most of the time. You have the actual post-game story, completing the Pokédex, facilities like the Battle Maison, Tower and Frontier, building teams for the comp scene, and of course, shiny hunting. Players will spend hours upon hours searching for shiny Pokémon. But what are they? Shiny Pokémon are differently coloured Pokémon that are extremely rare encounters. For example, while most Swamperts are a nice shade of blue, shiny Swamperts are pink. There are some categories that I like to separate shiny Pokémon into. You have the iconic shinies, the shinies that barely look any different to their original colour scheme, and then there's green. There isn't actually a ton of information about how shiny colours are decided. There are some theories that they were chosen through an algorithm originally due to technical limitations on old hardware. The game would only need to change 1 or 2 pixel colours to generate a shiny colour. This isn't confirmed, and I don't know if we'll ever get this information properly. But James Turner, a designer who worked for Game Freak, revealed that he got to choose his own shiny colorations. He chose the colour palettes for Pokémon including Guzzlord, Naganadel and the Galarian Zigzagoon line. So in some cases, the designers do get to choose their own colour palettes. I pray for the person who chose Garchomp's shiny colours. Moving on from how the colour schemes are generated, let's move on to how shiny Pokémon are actually generated in the games. Shiny Pokémon were introduced in Pokémon Gold and Silver, with everyone who's played those games encountering the fabled Red Gyarados. And ever since then, shiny Pokémon have been sought after by those willing to invest the time to hunt them. Before Generation 6, the odds of encountering a shiny Pokémon were 1 in 8,192. This chance is what's referred to as base odds, as this is the probability of encountering a shiny Pokémon without manipulating the odds. Players are able to manipulate these odds through various methods that the developers made available within the games. Back in Generation 5, a new key item was added to the game, the Shiny Charm. This item has been included in every main series game since Black and White 2, and is usually obtained by completing the National Pokédex. Unless you're playing Legends Arceus, in which case you have to get every Pokédex entry to research level 10. The Shiny Charm increases your odds of encountering a shiny Pokémon by 300%, reducing the odds from the original 1 in 8,192 to roughly 1 in 2,730. And in all games since X and Y, the shiny odds were slashed further, with base odds now being 1 in 4,096, so nowadays you can get ridiculously favourable odds. And while this sounds great, at the end of the day, it's still up to random chance. And just like how 99% of gambling addicts quit before they win the jackpot, 99% of players will quit before they find a mucus coloured rodent. With the amount of time you see people putting into this, it sometimes makes you wonder what the point is. Personally, I never understood why people spend their time resetting for a cluster of differently coloured pixels. I tried it once or twice, but I eventually got bored and threw in the towel. But I wanted to understand it, so I did some research about why people love shiny Pokémon so much. After looking through several websites, discussion forums and message boards, I found a wide range of answers to my question. Some reasons were pretty straightforward. Sometimes people like certain shiny colours more than the originals, while others like the bragging rights that come with the rarity of shinies. They tend to be pretty valuable when it comes to trading, and it gives people a reason to pick up the game again. And there were other reasons that I hadn't really considered before looking into it. Some people can find the process quite relaxing. Some hunting methods don't require a ton of focus, you can just mindlessly grind away and it's a way to pass the time. And some other people see it as a challenge, as it boils down to a test of patience and focus, with some methods requiring you to pay close attention to what you're doing, like the poker radar and chain fishing. They feel rewarded when their golden fish appears after a couple hours of fishing. And then you've got the content-centric reasons for shiny hunting. Shiny Pokémon get views. You tend to see videos about hunting for shiny Pokémon or doing specific challenges revolving around them doing very well on YouTube. People are interested in finding out how long it takes to find them without having to invest that time themselves. I'm not throwing shade at any content creators who upload videos about shiny Pokémon. That shit is a test of endurance. Shiny hunting is also great for live content. Since the majority of methods aren't super complicated, it allows for a streamer to stay engaged with their chat, and shiny reactions make for great clips.
No way! No way! No way! First encounter! First encounter!
These are all perfectly understandable reasons, but I was also interested in going deeper. I want to understand why people enjoy this on a psychological level. I want to get inside people's heads.
This is about much more than just business. This is about the thrill of wearing another man's skin.
You can technically class shiny hunting as a form of gambling, but instead of spending money, you spend time. And instead of potentially losing your house and access to your kids, you can just potentially lose hundreds of hours of your life and your potential sanity. When someone gambles and wins, it stimulates the release of dopamine, the feel-good hormone. It's the same hormone that's released when we eat food, exercise, or use some sketchy poker blocks that someone's been selling out the back of the contest hall. The thing about dopamine is that it makes us feel really good, and this feeling of reward leads us to seek it out again and again. That's why people find themselves becoming addicted to things that release dopamine. I guess it is cheaper and less destructive to be addicted to hunting funny looking monsters than shooting up heroin, so that's a plus. Something else that I think contributes heavily to people's shiny hunting is the sunk cost fallacy. It basically means that someone is a lot less likely to abandon a project or task if they've already invested a lot into it. The sunk cost is the expenditure of a resource that can no longer be recovered, such as money invested into a project, effort put into making something, or time spent hunting for a shiny. In most cases, people will stick to their project, even if abandoning it would be more beneficial than completing it. I never really understood the point of shiny hunting when I was younger. I tried the poker radar, but I was a child and I didn't understand how it worked. And I tried chain fishing, but I got bored. The most recent hunt I've done is the hunt for a shiny whooper, which I streamed live on Twitch. I might get back into it if you follow me on Twitch and shame me for not going live enough. Link in the description. I tried to find my whooper through random encounters in Pokemon Shield, and about 2,500 encounters, and 6 months later, I decided on another approach. I tried the Masuda method, and I got my shiny within 160 eggs and 1 stream. But I didn't feel rewarded. I was just glad it was over and pissed that I spent so long trying to find it through random encounters. I never wanted to try this godforsaken pastime ever again, but if I was to truly understand it, I'd have to dive in again. So that's what I did. I decided I'd do 3 shiny hunts in 3 separate games: Pokemon Shield, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'll start with Shield as that was by far the easiest hunt of the bunch. I decided to use the Masuda method for this hunt. It involves breeding a Pokemon from your game with a Pokemon from a game in a different language. The most common way to do this is to trade a Ditto from your game for a foreign one. This method increases your odds from 1 in 4,096 to 1 in 682. So yeah, it's a pretty big improvement. And luckily for me, I already have the shiny charm unlocked in Shield, so my odds are boosted further to 1 in 512. And what do I do to find the shiny? I become a mother and hatch eggs for a few hours. And I know what you're thinking, this doesn't look like the most engaging way to play a video game. And you're 100% correct. So what do we do in the meantime? Much better. I was able to get into the rhythm of collecting eggs, riding around on my bike, hatching them, and dooming the blue Lortads to spend an eternity rotting in the PC box. Half an hour and 34 eggs later, I was faced with a shiny Lortad.
Chad, come look at this! Have you seen this? Look at this little character! Look at this little guy!
Honestly, it was kind of underwhelming. I didn't feel any kind of reward. I just went in circles for half an hour and I had a purple Lortad. I gave my new Lortad the rightful name of the Queen and evolved it into Ludicolo. I think the entire Lortad line has great shiny forms, so I'm glad to add the Queen to the collection. 1 down, 2 to go. I settled on Let's Go Pikachu for the next hunt because Switch games are easier to record than 3DS games, and I already had the shiny charm, so my odds would be automatically better. And for this hunt, I decided that my target would be Slowpoke. I wanted to try a few different hunting methods for this video, so I decided to try the catch combo method for this one. The Let's Go games feature a different encounter and catching system, where you just throw balls at Pokemon and hope for the best. But when you catch the same species of Pokemon consecutively, you build a catch combo. The higher the combo, the higher your shiny chances. Your stats max out at a combo of 31, where the chance of getting a shiny is 1 in 341. But then you also have the other items to factor into this. With a lure active, the chance becomes 1 in 315, with the shiny charm it becomes 1 in 292, and with both a lure and the shiny charm, your shiny odds are now 1 in 273. Shortly after Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee released, the player base said that these reported shiny odds had to be wrong, as some people were going 10 times over odds without finding anything. And in recent years, it's been confirmed that the increased shiny odds only apply to the next Pokemon in the combo, so you need to keep catching them to carry over these shiny odds. I was ready to head out for my hunt, but first I needed to prepare by sweeping the Elite Four, rematching gym leaders, and watching a regular old Slowpoke to raise some funds. And so, I set off to the C4 Islands to look for my shiny Slowpoke. And after checking the odds, I assumed this would be faster than my last hunt. I was wrong. I decided to chip away at the challenge day by day, at points getting to chains as high as 225 without finding anything. I hunted each night after work, just sat watching as overgrown pink salamanders taunted me with their unshininess. And about 6 hours into the hunt, I thought I'd actually look at what shiny Slowpoke looks like. I wanted to go in blind, but I thought it would be better to know what to look for. So I checked it out and... it's just a Slowpoke with a vitamin D deficiency! And here I realised the problem that I'd run into. You can barely tell whether Slowpoke is shiny here. Since the cave itself is so bright, it's easy to mistake any Slowpoke for not going outside during the summer. And with the Seafoam Islands being something of a winter wonderland, the entire cave is constantly sparkling, which makes it even more difficult to notice a shiny since the sparkles look almost identical. But it was at this point that I noticed that I was succumbing to the sunk cost fallacy. I had already spent 6 hours looking for this thing. I was not letting that time go to waste. So I pressed on, chipping away at this challenge little by little, day by day. And around 9 hours in, I was rewarded. Just with the wrong shiny.
If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you.
I broke my catch combo to grab it. I wasn't walking away from this empty-handed. Time to start the combo again, I guess.
A few moments later.
Well, would you look at that. You know I had to treat this Pale King to a premiere ball. And just like that, after 9 hours and 651 encounters, I had my Slowpoke. I decided to evolve him into a Slowbro and take a quick victory lap around the cave one last time.
You're just a cheap fucking knockoff.
I was a bit disappointed that my Slowbro wasn't female because I wanted to name it after the greatest Slowbro to ever live and die, Slowmara. But I settled with Bromara instead, and I called my now Golbat Ken, because shiny Crobat is pink and, well, you know. It turns out that when you get to a high catch combo, your catches are guaranteed to have at least 4 perfect IVs. So by the end of the hunt, I had about 20 Slowpokes with 5 perfect IVs. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point I started to understand why people shiny hunt.
I get it.
I was ready to claim another with my next hunt.
Hello, Bozo.
My reasoning for choosing Legends Arceus is that I just wanted to see how powerful the mass outbreaks were. Mass outbreaks are swarms of Pokemon gathering in specific areas of the world for a limited time, and with this comes increased shiny odds, and these odds get a little bit wacky. Within a mass outbreak, without any other odds manipulation, your shiny odds go from 1 in 4096 to 1 in 158. If the species has a research level of 10, this goes to 1 in 152. If they have a research level of 10 and the shiny charm, the odds are 1 in 137. If you've perfected the dex entry, your odds are 1 in 141. But combining this with the shiny charm gets your odds all the way down to 1 in 128. The best set of odds I'm going to get in this game is 1 in 152, because I have some research level 10 Pokemon, but I can't be bothered grinding for the shiny charm. But I'll take 1 in 152. Those are still the best odds I've ever had while hunting for a shiny.
No.
I really didn't have any kind of target in mind for this hunt. I just went wherever there was a mass outbreak to see if I could find a shiny. And I was pretty optimistic about my chances here. Yeah, it's been a while since I played this. And after an hour of searching, I decided to look into massive mass outbreaks. These were added in the Daybreak update. Massive mass outbreaks consist of several outbreaks that take place at the same time across a region of the map. They last longer and contain more Pokemon than the regular outbreaks, but in exchange for these bonuses, the shiny odds are slightly lower for each condition, but the best potential odds are still brilliant. So I started my first massive mass outbreak and... okay, it must just be a fluke. Huh. After finishing these requests, both regular and massive mass outbreaks can happen at the same time. I started on my first simultaneous hunt, and half an hour later...
Poggers!
So in roughly 4 hours I found 3 shinies, one of which is my favourite Pokemon of all time.
Monkey, huge anus. Did you see that thing's anus?
So this was definitely better than the catch combo hunt and saved what little sanity I had left. I started this project looking to understand why people spent so much time on this. I started out skeptical. I never thought I'd get it. I thought it would just be a waste of time. But after spending hours on end staring at the same screen, I was rewarded with palette swapped pocket mongrels. And it finally clicked. Shiny hunting used to be something I didn't understand, but now I want to hop into all of the older games and try and find more. Making this video has helped me discover something else to enjoy about the games I spent my childhood with, and I really hope it inspired someone else to maybe give it a try. Who knows? Maybe I'll go for a full shiny living dex. Maybe I'll go insane. My weekend's pretty free.